hours. I know all the doctors and the medical professionals and the healthy people will be like, oh my gosh. But please, I'm okay.
Are you? Your eyes don't tell.
Your eyes don't tell that you're okay. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I see the time that the number has sent me a message. I'm like, this lady, won't you sleep?
I don't sleep.
Why?
She's praying.
Hey.
Another loves to pray. But anyway, let's see what the newspapers are reporting. I beg your pardon. This morning, some of the things they are repeating them because we knew was going to happen, didn't we? I begin with the Daily Graphic, which says drama in Parliament. Speaker declares 4 seats vacant, 2 NPP, 1 independent, 1 NDC. Kude launches tabulation system for election monitoring. Thrilling contest to climax tertiary business sense challenge on October 22. NPP, NDC set for Ayawaso West Wagon showdown. Yeah, that's it for the Daily Graphic. What do you have, Nureen?
Well, I have the Daily Guide newspaper here. Banner headline said, Speaker kicks out 4 MPs. NPP boycotts Parliament. Well, there's been lots of reactions to this yesterday. And the question that many people are asking is that, what significant change will this change make? Because we have just 50 days to the election.
Sure, but it's an historic decision that has been made, and as I read the news this morning, former President Mahama was jubilating, saying that it's a sign that God is giving the NDC victory in 2024
but
elections.
have you looked into the realm? Is God speaking yet about Ghana's
Oh, please,
elections?
I'm not that deep like that. My dreams and visions are surface matter. But there are people who know or believe they know that God has spoken to them about it. I've not spoken to
But do
any.
you believe in that?
I do.
You do? Huh?
I believe, let's not go into that. But, I think the world is spiritual. That's all. Yeah.
All right, next headline. Anti-LGBTQ plus bill. File defense in 7 days. Supreme Court to Parliament. NDC fight Electoral Commission over Amenfi Central parliamentary candidate. This issue, it's been back and forth. Anyway, presidential results to be declared at collation centers. Next headline, guide radio personality. Okay, all right, that's and then the last one here. So basically, that's it for the Daily Guide newspaper.
Nanama, what do you have?
Okay, so for the Daily Post, we have Speaker declares to whom Memphis Central, Agona West, and Fomena seats vacant. Then NDC becomes NDC becomes new majority in Parliament.
Okay.
Let me finish that. Yeah. So if I was the Speaker, I would have done the same thing.
Exactly.
I don't know what anybody thought he would have done differently. It's his party.
Yesterday I actually went to look at Article 97. Sorry. I went to look at Article 97 again. Now it says that when a speaker, when an MP crosses carpets, that is, leaves one party to join another party or goes independent.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that refers to the next election. Because let me explain it this way. Currently, they are NPP MPs. Now, they are contesting as independent. 3 of them. They are contesting as independent candidates for the next election. So how
2 NPP MPs are contesting independent. 1 independent is coming back to the NPP, and then 1 NDC is going independent.
Okay. So which means that currently, for those that are representing the NPP and those that are independent, whatever decision they make comes into effect after 2024, which is
2025,
which is the 9th Parliament.
Which is how I thought it to be.
That is your interpretation.
That is my understanding. That
is your interpretation of what the Constitution says. It's a subject for the Supreme Court to make a declaration that indeed, because you see, when it was done under Speaker Okwe's tenure, nobody contested it. So it's ironic how when the table turns and it doesn't favor you, now you're contesting
I
it.
think the reason there's this halabaloo about this situation is because during Okwe's time, the NPP had majority, like they had more numbers. But now there's
It's a very slim line,
The
yeah.
numbers are very close.
Yeah.
So for them to lose 2 and then become the minority, it's a big deal to them. So they have to make a fuss about it.
It is a big deal, and the days, 50 days,
Yes,
50
days.
days, the days to election, 50 days. That is less than 2 months. So it's close to my birthday.
Okay.
But I mean, it's the time is so short. So this next month or so is going to be extremely interesting. Yeah. Then the last headline I have is Lordina Mahama boosts Hohoi NDC PC's campaign.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I have for the Daily Post.
Okay, I have the Daily Searchlight here who says Akufo-Addo wins minority side. Okay. Okay. Supporters of Bishop Salifu Amako condemned over devilish assault on journalists. Yes, this must be condemned. This must be condemned in every sense of the word. Our colleague Mutala Inusa was assaulted, and this must not repeat itself. Journalists have come under attack so many times, and to think that these are people, well, Nana is here, so I don't want to. It's a Friday. Let me not go there.
No.
Lily, don't go there.
No,
Lily,
it's,
don't go
it's,
there.
it's not about don't go there. At the end of the day, whether you like it or yes, the people who assaulted Mutala are in the wrong, 150%. However, how do I put it? The little that I know about Archbishop Salifu Amako, there is no way on God's green earth that he would have told these people that go and do this, go and do that. However, because they are, well, reportedly his attendees, it looks like, I mean, a lot of people are insulting him online and are saying things like he, you know, is this, there, people are asking, is this what he's teaching them in church and things like that? But, you know, Echo said something yesterday, religion is the opium of
The masses, yes.
And
Karl Marx.
you see, it's important for us to be aware that we don't follow blindly. We are supposed to follow, I mean, the Bible tells us that, Paul says, follow me as I follow Christ. So if I am doing something that is not akin to what the Bible is telling me to do, I'm not supposed to follow. You know, so I think that the people were not doing the bidding of the man of God. They were doing their own bidding. And I think they have made the situation 100 times worse.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately it has covered, like, it's kind of done a blanket over men of God in Ghana, you know. And obviously there was a previous issue that happened, I've forgotten the name of him, and something of that nature also happened. But I mean, it's important that if you are following so that you are following the right way.
Okay.
Yeah, I condemn what they did in totality. In totality. And not just because Mutala is our brother and our friend, but because he's a human being.
Yeah.
You know, and we are supposed to show the righteousness of Christ. We are not supposed to show
Intolerance. Yes, this is intolerance at its highest level.
you know. So
Anyway, let me continue. Achim Kotoku State Sanctions Chief indefinitely. CEO of PM Group of Company constructs mechanized borehole for Draboso SHS. Obuasi Tech wins STEM Innovation 2024. That's it for the Daily Searchlight.
The Informer newspaper banner headline: democracy is still only option. That's according to PNU. Then we have ICC improves relationship with Africa. I believe ICC is International Criminal Court. I should think so. Improves relationship with Africa, according to a prosecutor. And then the next one here says Baumia set to unveil local streaming platform. Yeah, that meeting he had with the creative industry, where we saw him speak pidgin to Shatawale. Some people were trolling him for his pidgin. Someone said, but how come
The pigeon was not pigeon.
The pigeon was not pigeon.
it was not. And
See, even Adama can tell.
for me personally, I've decided that I have intentionally not learnt Pidgin. Though my tree is not the best, I've intentionally not learnt Pidgin because maybe what I'm coming to say is extremely controversial, but I don't like it when women speak Pidgin. That's just me.
Why?
I think it's too.
Let's leave it there. Like I said, maybe it's extremely controversial. I just think it's just not attractive when women speak Pidgin.
And Amma, you were raised in the UK, so I will not fault you much if you don't speak Pidgin. I grew up in Ghana, yet I don't speak Pidgin. I mean, my Pidgin is as worse or as bad as Baumia speaking, and it is because of the school that I attended.
Okay.
When I
Was it an international school?
It's a private school. Then times they called it a preparatory school.
Yes, sir.
I passed there recently and I saw the buildings. I'm like, some years ago I was here. So the school frowned on speaking vernacular and Pidgin.
Right.
You dare not. If
Right.
you speak, you're going to be in serious trouble.
Right.
So there was no point at any time that you would speak Pidgin. And I was a student leader, and we were to set an example for the other students.
Sure.
So I even in secondary school, I couldn't find myself speaking Pidgin. So till date, I wish I could speak it fluently because sometimes it comes in handy.
As for that,
Yes.
it does. And
Yes.
I mean, I use like some small words, just like Pekin and, those kind of things. But to string a sentence together and then when somebody's standing there talking fluent Pidgin, I'm just looking at the person like you're speaking Chinese to me. And I don't think it's wrong that he couldn't speak Pidgin. At the end of the day, like you are saying, maybe he went to a private school, maybe he just doesn't want to learn, or maybe in his community it wasn't the done thing there. I admire him for trying. He tried to reach out to that portion of society, and well done. He didn't do it well, but I mean, he tried.
He tried.
I mean, we're in an election. We're in an election year, so you'll try anything. You maybe see him driving Banku somewhere sometime soon. But I think he tried. At least it was a request made. He endeavoured to fulfil the request. He may have failed at it, but he tried.
Half a loaf is better than none.
Well,
So,
Okay.
I'm not done. So, DDEP Brouhaha. We have Napo's picture here, and he says, "We will reward your sacrifices." Napo assures bondholders. Oh. And then the last one here
After
says,
they are dead and gone, I guess.
what are they waiting for?
"What are they waiting for?" The last one here said, "Stop running away from Baumia." Akufo-Addo tells Mahama. You know this thing, Yesterday, someone said on GH1 TV that the fact that Akufo-Addo has the courage to ask for a debate from Mahama surprises him. Because it is the same Akufo-Addo
He shied away.
who did not give Mahama the debate that he asked for. If it is Baumia that is asking for the debate, I can understand, because Mahama has never asked Baumia for a debate in the past, or vice versa. But in this case, for Akufo-Addo to actually ask Mahama why he is running, you ran away from him in 2016, so
In 2020.
2020. So I don't really get the correlation here. Anyway, maybe he's doing it like the man said yesterday. He's doing it as a Ghanaian, not as the president of Ghana.
Really? Really?
So that's it for the Informer newspaper.
Okay, so the Chronicle says that Baumia set to launch music streaming and taxi hailing apps. Prophet Salifo.
Well, he says at one point he was a taxi driver, so yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting. Let's see. Interesting. Okay. Prophet Salifo Amako's fans assault Chronicle reporter others. So it wasn't just Musala. Wow. Okay. Then anger over removal of 4 MPs. Take your parliament. We won't be part of it until ... Afenyo Markin tells Togbik Bagbin. Then we have the just a moment. We have the
Memory
scripture
verse, yeah.
for today, and it's taken from Leviticus, which many people don't read, myself included. Leviticus 24:19-20. Anyone who injures their neighbor is to be injured in the same manner. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. The one who has inflicted the injury must suffer the same injury.
This one, who does it go for? Should we then mass up as friends of Mutala and then go and assault.
Make it right.
Well,
see?
that's what the Bible is
See?
saying. Yeah. Anyway, let me head to the Daily Dispatch. Banner headline reads: Baumia will get a one-touch victory. There will be no runoff. That's according to his running mate, Napo. I understand. Come again.
He's confident.
Yeah. I like the confidence,
Is it confidence or could it be construed as arrogance?
Well, in this instance, it's confidence.
Okay.
Yeah. I understand hardship because I have experienced it before, Baumia. Well, he says at some point he was a cleaner, he was a taxi driver, so yeah, his experience. But I'm wondering where he was doing his driving, Was it
We should have some witnesses, right?
No, he went to, was it the US or the UK for his PhD? So while he was there, I understand he did some.
But that's if you're a taxi driver.
He was a taxi driver in the
I'm
UK.
not sure. I'm saying he did his PhD in the. I'm not sure whether the UK or the. I heard him say it one time. I'm not sure whether the UK
Because
or the US.
to be a taxi driver in the UK is not a joke. It's like you go to taxi school, if I'm not mistaken, for like about 3 years, and you study.
Taxi school.
Yeah, it's like basically like a school. You study the roads. So like when you mention a road, wherever it is in London, or if it was in London, wherever it is in London, the taxi driver knows because he or she has studied for this thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a joke. It's
Are
not
they
like
giving
here, you just get a
certificates?
taxi, you paint it and you start moving.
Are they issued certificates?
That I think
If
so.
you go to
I
school,
think
then
I
obviously-
think there are certificates in their taxi cabs. They're specific, like you get like it's called a black taxi cab. So, so people like study. It's not like here. Pacho
become a
make
taxi driver for 3
yes,
years?
yes, or
Wow.
sometimes more. So so it's like a full-on profession. So some people have been driving like 20 years, 30 years, so they know London like the back of their hand. It's not like here, Pacho Meko Ashimota Old Station. Baby, I walk, and then you are now directing that. No. You don't direct them. And it's not Google Map that they're using. They're using our dream map.
I like that. Anyway, show your appreciation for free SHS policy by voting massively for NPP. That's according to Chief of Staff Akosia Fremoseo Parry. That's it for the Daily Dispatch.
I have the news center. The banner headline here says, all set for Ghana card rollout globally, starting from Denmark on Tuesday.
Oh, that's a good thing. That is a good thing.
It's a good thing. But does everybody have one here before we go to Denmark?
Well, that's a very critical question to ask.
No, but there are many people who don't have Ghana cards in this country.
So if you've not finished rolling
If you've
it
not
out
covered-
in your country, why are you going international? So will it be the same thing when you go there?
That's the thing. Anyway, next one here says, Baumia promises creative arts sector tax incentives, streaming platforms. A national health insurance scheme to cover 4 mental health diseases from 1st November.
This is good news.
This is good news.
Yes,
Very good
yes.
news.
Because really, I was told, like telling, what are you? That many of us don't know that we have mental health issues. And for which reason we don't even consider going to see the experts or the specialist.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with anxiety disorder a few months back, and I did not even for once think that I would have any issue of that sort. How did I know? I went to hospital for regular checkup. And the doctor says, what you're telling me, I don't think it's anything that has to do with the body. It has to do with your mind. You have too many things bothering you. So I'm going to refer you to a clinical psychologist. I'm like, I don't need a clinical psychologist for any reason. Then she tells me, there are people who are obese, that they feel very okay until they go to see the doctor and they tell them that there's something wrong with them that they are not aware of.
Yeah.
So I think there's something wrong with you. Go see the clinical psychologist. And I had to pay for it. Now they're saying it's going to be free.
Well, it depends which ones, but at least whichever ones, I think is a good. It's a good.
Good, it's good.
And yesterday I also heard Dr. Da Costa saying that dialysis will be covered by NHIS. And
Is there age restriction on it?
I've not really gone into the nitty-gritties, but for even dialysis to be covered,
It's a start.
I pray that it covers every age bracket. Looking at the challenges that bedevils dialysis treatment in this country.
It's
And
not easy. It's not easy.
all diabetes, all the non-communicable diseases, it's a step in the right direction. I think that for us as a country, we need to be able to get to the era where non-communicable diseases are treated for free, and it's associated effects. Everything will be covered by government. I think we need to be able to move to that area, because if you look at the numbers, I mean, when Dr. Da Costa spoke, he said if you look at the numbers, it's not something that is not undoable. It's something that is very doable.
Everything is doable, but it's whether you have the facilities, the personnel, you know,
the financial resources. I agree.
And for some of the diseases, Lily, as much as we are saying that government should take up the cost, I think we should live a healthy lifestyle. And also something like diabetes, you know, it's something that, unless it's genetics, it's something that you can prevent just by watching what you eat.
Sometimes, there are, you can get diabetes as well, sometimes from the after effects from birth, giving birth.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
There's a lot. When you give birth, there are lots of things that
complications,
associate with. I know somebody now, they have an issue with their eyesight.
I have a colleague who had an issue with her ear.
Strange things,
with her left ear. Yeah,
because she gave birth.
Yes, after birth.
One lady, her heart, she couldn't walk. Like she couldn't hold it. Like a lot of things
and
go on.
I know somebody who had an issue with their limbs. You know, after childbirth, so there are a whole lot of complications. You know.
Okay, well, those ones are exempted, but for the one that you have to watch your diet.
And I think that for us as a country, we also need to do a lot of education on our lifestyle, because a chunk of it is lifestyle related.
But they've started. I went for physio at 37, and it was an X-ray, and whilst I was waiting, I don't know if I think they were from the NCCE. I'm not sure. Anyway, they came and they were talking about a certain illness or certain lifestyle changes and things like that. And I was actually surprised, because a lot of people were in the waiting area. And they had, a ready audience, because you're not going anywhere, because you need to get your X-ray to go and see your doctor or whatever it is. So they had a ready audience, and they were communicating about, I think it was a certain illness or lifestyle changes or something along those lines. And I was quite impressed, because it's the first time, I don't go to hospital much, but it's the first time I saw something or heard something of that nature. So maybe it has begun. You know, because what you're saying is really important. Yeah.
The next headline here on the News Center newspaper says, Margins CEO challenges business leaders to shape economic policies. And the last one, Wasa Isukuma chief urges small-scale miners to unite against Galamsey.
Right, now, the Ghanaian publisher, the banner headline says, Independent MP's case, Afenyo Markin blasts Bagbin. Then we have Efutu NDC PC in marital scam. Baby mama drags him to court for psychiatric test. I wish I had the paper to read more into that, honestly. Interesting. Then government to launch music streaming app in November, Baumia announces. Yeah, so that is the Ghanaian publisher.
So we're done with the newspapers now.
Okay, so we go to the various portals. I start with starfm.com.gh. Akufo-Addo's best legacy is free SHS. That's Professor Aaron Michael Quay. Yesterday, he was on Star Chat with Bullery, and there are a lot of things that he said which were quite interesting. Another thing he said was, we're not properly applying the role of MPs. And according to him, MPs do not construct roads. MPs go around campaigning that I will construct road, I will do this, I'll build a school, I'll do that. And then when they get the nod, they're sitting in their Land Cruisers driving by and waving. Constituents. And then when constituents ask, they say, oh, go and ask the MCE. But you campaigned on the basis of that. And it was because of that that people thought you as the best leader to vote for.
Yeah.
I think the electorate should also know this, that any MP that comes to you and tells you, I'm going to do this for you, to some extent, is not being truthful to you. I'm not saying they can't do it. They can use their personal resources, but we know that the primary role of MPs is to make laws.
It's legislative, yeah.
So you.
Well, when I first came to Ghana, I honestly thought that was their part of their job role. The way people were talking about it, you know, but coming to realize that it's not their work. And then when they don't do it, people are so, you know, the expectation is high. And then they'll come on the news saying that my MP isn't doing what he or she said that they will do. And
Because
stuff
that's what
like
you
that.
campaigned on.
Sure.
Yeah. It is shameful we could not win our home games. Otuado should just give us a break, you know.
The Black Star should give us a break. I mean,
You know, I mean, yes, as for the Black Stars, see, me, prior to the games, I was one of the few people who was very despondent about the Black Stars. I said that, listen, the Black Stars will not take us anywhere. Let's not worry our hearts and our heads as Ghanaians, because as it stands, even though I want to be a citizen and not a spectator, I don't believe in the current crop of Black Stars.
Okay.
I don't believe they are hungry for success as much as I know anybody would disagree. That's your own thoughts. But if you look at the kind of hunger that their predecessors had anytime there was a game, you cannot see that. Even on the field of play, you cannot see any formula. I wonder what type of formula they were applying, whether it was attacking, whether it was defensive. They were just all over the pitch. And I didn't understand the Black Stars. For me, I think that it is good that we're not going to the AFCON. Well, he says mathematically we're still in. And that's one thing I hate. After every loss, we go to our calculators. Okay, who is supposed to lose? Okay, if this team loses by 3 goals, why?
Just win.
Hoping that someone should lose, so
Just
we make
win.
It.
Exactly, so that we can make
go
an
through.
even in the AFCON. Are we kidding ourselves? Why can't we just win a game, go into various tournaments as a happy people? We are toying with the hearts of Ghanaians. Look at the number of people that thronged the stadium the last time they played with Sudan.
But I thought Ghanaians have given up. Or they've not given up yet.
But unfortunately, people turned up in their numbers
Yeah.
to
Which means
support.
people still have this kind
People's-
of, the love is there.
You didn't see Monica's face. Monica was destroyed. Missy Monique, everything well. She was just sitting there. Her face was just sullen. I was just like, oh.
For me, I learned some time ago not to put my heart in the Black Stars.
Oh,
when
we've
they are
stopped.
playing,
We've
because
stopped.
What can happen? I'm one of the World Cups. I was still growing up by then, and then I think their match against Italy, they lost. My goodness, I couldn't. So since then, I told myself no. But the thing is that really, even like you said, the predecessors, even when they didn't lift a trophy, Ghanaians were
Still
somehow
backing them,
happy
yeah.
with their performance. They didn't lift a trophy, but Ghanaians were happy with their performance because they know they gave their all.
Yes.
But in this case,
They played
they
their
played
hearts
with
out.
passion.
Yes.
They played, and you could see that, yes, they didn't lift the trophy, but they did Ghana good. They did Ghana justice.
And so every time they did not even lift a trophy, like Nurain said, upon their return, you would see the rousing welcome. You see how Ghanaians are eager to tell them that, listen, we know you put your all. We are okay. We love you. But these ones,
So there's theories going around.
that, I have heard that, so they're under spiritual attack.
Oh no, far from that.
I'm sure you heard that. I earlier Jones played a particular soundbite where someone said, "Oh, they're under a spiritual attack." Somebody said something to me a few days ago, and I know that there are spiritual attacks,
Sure.
but very often we enable it.
There's that. There
We
is that.
say it, we actually think it, we manifest it. The moment you're thinking it, you're saying, oh, and I made you be EMU, and I made you be EMU. You are enabling it. So we are enabling it. You are saying, oh, the Black Stars is under a spiritual attack. Yeah, somebody will attack them, for real. And so that is what we have enabled. Obia and Ubia, Homanana I say, you know. Akufado's best legacy is free SHS, Professor Michael Quay. So that's a rehash of what Chief of Staff Akosia Frema Oseo Paris said. We are not properly applying. Okay, that's another one. Bagman declares 4 parliamentary seats vacant. Yes, as one of the issues that we'll go into it later on the weekly review. Majority caucus stages walk out over Speaker's ruling declaring 4 parliamentary seats vacant. I wonder the kind of impact it will have in Parliament, parliamentary business, on the various committees. You know, when you are in the majority, you need to get leadership of certain committees, maybe the ranking, the chair, the ranking goes to the minority. I mean, how are we going to reconstitute the various committees? And
I think there's a lot more than I think maybe people are looking at it on face value.
Yes,
Now you are
yes.
mentioning these things, and it's like there's a lot more to consider when it comes to this.
Yes, and
not
setting
just about-
bills and setting things that need to be considered in
Right.
Parliament. And so if the NDC is in the majority,
Yeah, kind of sound.
yes, because like it's all over the place anyway. If the NDC is in the majority and there's supposed to be a bill that needs a presidential assent, and they pass it in Parliament, will the president assent to it?
This is it's a whole lot of
Yes.
Wow, it's a headache.
I know, you know, there are certain things that we're not considering. What does this mean for parliamentary business in itself? Now that the majority says, the NPP caucus say that they will not attend parliamentary proceedings until a declaration by the Supreme Court. Will the Supreme Court determine this case swiftly? It will be in the interest of the Supreme Court to determine this case swiftly, because
Time is short.
yes,
I agree.
and the Speaker has not even been served.
I agree.
Because I understand that there was an understanding that MPs should only be served, or the House should only be served on Mondays, because they don't sit on Mondays. Now, if you go there on Monday and then there's nobody there to hand it
Who
over
and
to,
how are you serving?
How are you serving, you know? And how many days do we have for this Parliament to go on recess so they can attend to their various constituencies?
But you know, I was listening to an interview with Professor Michael Quay, and he was saying that Albin Bagbin is somebody who has been in Parliament for some time.
Yeah.
He's fully aware of parliamentary business.
Absolutely.
He knows the ups and downs and things like that. So my thought or my belief will be or should be that the decision he made was not based on a whim. It was not based on simply, well, my party is NDC, so I'm going to stick it to you or something
But
like
that's
that.
what the Constitution, he simply went according to the Constitution. That's what the Constitution
So
says.
Then he must have thought through
Exactly.
whatever decision he made.
Just that in this instance, it was not a particular party petitioning the Speaker, because in the case of Isiama, the now second Deputy Speaker, his party petitioned Parliament, and so upon that the Speaker ruled. In this instance, the Speaker a move was made by the I don't know what I'd say, majority. Now I'm confused. By the NDC caucus, who say that, well, there is an ingenuity being perpetuated. Somebody has officially declared their seat vacant, because per the Constitution, once you cross carpet, once you move to the other aisle, then you're officially not a member of Parliament. You don't belong to that Parliament, because you campaigned on the back of a particular party or on the back of a particular ideology. If it was an independent candidate, then you told the people that you're representing that I don't believe in the ideologies of the NPP or the NDC. These are my ideologies. I am going, and on that the people voted for you. Now you say that you believe in the ideologies of the NPP. So you're being disingenuous. You are, for want of a better expression, you are lying to the people you represented. So leave Parliament. That is what the Constitution says.
But I mean, it wasn't in MPP's favour
Exactly.
to bring this forward. I mean, I was listening to Afenyo Markin, and he was trying to, how should I put it? He was trying to put the interviewer down so that it would be like you wouldn't pick holes in what is actually going on. Because, I mean, if he is to put this forward, it would not be in their benefit as they are sitting right now, you know. So,
And you know, this particular Parliament, has been characterized by drama.
Mm-hmm.
It started with drama and it feels as though it is ending with drama. You know, it's been quite an interesting parliament, I must say. Really, really, really interesting. And for Afenyo Marking, he came in not too long ago as majority leader, and then months on,
There's a shake-up.
yeah, you are a minority leader. That's quite unfortunate for him. What does it? You see, and these are the other dynamics. What does it even mean for him?
Right.
Yes, you know,
Right.
that it is under your tenure that we have a majority hand, and then it was taken away from us. What does it even mean for him?
It's like you can't control what has been given to you to handle, maybe.
You know, anyway. Dr. Clement Apak supports 4 women groups in Busa South. Rana Motu celebrates 30 years of Kia Sportage in Ghana. Guru NKZ endorses Baumia's digitalization policy. Kofi Chrome Pharmacy opens new ultra-modern retail pharmacy at Southla. And congratulations to Kofi Chrome Pharmacy. Rana Motors, okay, that's it again. Mahama promises to revive Tumu Cotton Factory to create jobs. There's a lot more stories if you log on to starfm.com.gh. Knowing what you have?
I have graphic online. It says here that we will not stand idly by as foundations of our democracy are undermined, according to NPP MPs. The next one here says, the next one on graphic online says, Speaker declares seats of 4 MPs vacant for crossing carpet. NDC now has majority seats in Parliament. The next one, NDC Joanna Jankujo sue Electoral Commission over Amenfi Central Parliamentary Election disqualification. We have the next one here. Oh no, this one, I'm not sure I can read this one. Let me go to the next one. It says, I understand hardship because I have experienced it. Baumia. We were discussing this a few moments ago. So these are the headlines that we have on graphic online.
Okay, when we go to Ghana Web, be humble when God blesses you early in life. Muktari tells Afenyo Markin. Oh dear. Then Afenyo Markin refuses to speak on air unless addressed by former... Let me say that again. Afenyo Markin refuses to speak on air unless addressed by former majority leader.
Yes, yesterday he was on what do you call it, a Joy News platform, and when the anchor called him the Member of Parliament for Futu, he asked that he be addressed properly as the majority leader.
He was if it was the same interview that I listened to, he was very, very, very cantankerous in the interview. Like I felt for the interview, honestly. Then
those are the hazards of the job.
Well, that's true. Then candlelight vigil to honor girls who died in East Legon accident. That's today. Then GNASSM says Ghana National Association for Small Scale Miners Task Force arrests 5 galamseyers, destroys 40 Changfans on River Brim. Then NDC becomes new majority in Parliament. Yeah, so that's Ghana Web there.
You know, one thing that I was also thinking about, it was Haruna who declared at a campaign launch in Tamale that we're going to make a move in Parliament to get the majority, and the now minority leader as of today called his bluff. You know, what would he have become of a former minority leader if this didn't suffice? You know,
I believe before he made the declaration, he knew what he was about. He knew that.
Yes. So I was wondering. I mean, if Speaker had not ruled in favor of this particular move, what would have meant to him? You know, because we all know what characterized his removal as minority leader, and then if the Speaker indeed rules against that move he made, what would have meant to him as a former leader of the House? You know, That's what was running through my head yesterday. But I think we have a few more papers that we missed. I have the Ghanaian Times newspaper here that says decision on independent candidates in Parliament. Speaker declares 4 seats vacant, 3 for NPP, 1 for NDC. VRA senior staff demo against proposed merger bill before Parliament. So you see, that's also one of the things that Parliament is supposed to consider, this bill, where they will merge, okay? And I'm wondering how that will pan out. It'll be an interesting one to look out for, because there have been a couple of protests against it. Toward peaceful 2024 December elections, we are committed to transparent, credible polls. That's according to President Akufo-Addo. Kodeo to deploy 4,000 observers nationwide for December 7 elections. Okay, that's it for the Ghanaian
So I have
Times.
the Herald newspaper here, banner headline, NPP falls on its 2020 sword against independent candidates. Ghana's foreign ministry privatizes visa processing in $38.2 million deal. Really? Ghana's foreign ministry privatizes visa processing in $38.2 million deal.
But will that be better or not? Well, it's supposed to be better.
Okay, all right. So it's not a passport, it's visa. Okay, so my mind was on
Passports, right? Yeah, okay.
Okay, so highlights of NDC and NPP manifestos on women empowerment, see page 10. Businessmen and faceless politicians salivating over VRA assets. The workers are saying this. And the last one here on the Herald newspaper, it says, Memphis Central pieces disqualification dubious.
Okay, so we have the new weekend crusading guide. Galamsey fight, blame our woes on weak laws. That's Wakam and other CSOs lament. Then Dr. Prince Amar goes to town against ex-president, says second John Mahama presidency a stamp on mediocrity. Then first local music streaming platform in the offing, Veep set to launch it in November. Bagbin declares 4 parliamentary seats vacant. Then Alan Shermartin is the best to lead Ghana. Ofinsomahine. Then Nungwa Wolomo fingered for allegedly taking over engineer Samuel Labi Darkun's land. And that's what we have for the new weekend crusading guide. Yeah.
I'm trying to look for a particular story. Okay. It caught my attention, the IASO West Wogan constituency. When it said the NPP NDC set fire IASO West Wogan showdown. Now, there was a particular paper that you're looking for. There was a story you read and you said you
in the portals. When we're reading the soft version.
Give me a moment and I will check for that.
The newspapers with us here.
Okay. This is just a constituency watch. So they are pitting both candidates together, and then walks in Alaji. Hey, Alaji. And then on the East Legon incident, Salifa Makutu others granted 150,000 CDs bail. I wonder if either of you has seen any arrests made so far on the attackers of Murtala. We have not seen any.
We haven't seen any arrests made so far.
We expect arrests.
Yeah.
I want Murtala to be duly compensated though.
There's video that captures the individuals who are assaulting Murtala. And it's very, very clear.
Yeah.
You don't even need to stress. There's a video that captured the people who assaulted Murtala in Usa. And the police will just have to take hold of this video, review it, and then go after the individuals in there.
The perpetrators.
It's basic, and that's what we expect. Otherwise, we are engendering impunity
Exactly.
and discipline.
Because
and
we have
lawlessness.
seen it a number of times. How
Yeah.
many of our colleagues have been attacked, and it took a long time for perpetrators to be. Sometimes they are not even traced at all.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
But this one we have video evidence to show, and so it is important that we see. Same way the police act swiftly when it comes to other cases. We want to see it this time around. When your issues arise, we are the people who propagate your issues. And so when it particularly concerns us, we want to see how the police will react in this particular incident. Because this should not happen again. How many times are we going to see ourselves under attack?
Yeah.
It could be me tomorrow. It could be you, Nanama. It could be Nure. It could be Ibrahim.
Everybody,
How many times are we going to go out there just doing our jobs and looking over our shoulders, thinking that who is coming to attack me?
Yeah.
How then does it bring the best out of us? You know,
And to say this took place at the premises of the court.
you know, where
where
the law is interpreted, where people who
Justice
flout
is
the
meted.
law,
Yeah.
where justice is delivered.
Yeah.
At the doors of justice delivery,
Yeah.
impunity is perpetrated.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, and I keep saying, the police, the administrators of the court failed. They just didn't fail Mutala. They failed themselves and failed the nation. This is a high-profile case. A basic intelligence gathering will tell you that beef up security. In fact, there was a police officer, uniformed, who was assaulted as well.
Yeah,
In his attempt to arrest those who were assaulting him, they further assaulted him more. Can you imagine?
You know, yeah. How did we get here as a country?
Exactly.
That people
Have the
Who-
audacity.
people will see a man in uniform
Yes.
and will have the audacity, the temerity to assault him, to attack him.
Yeah.
How did we get
People
here?
don't value uniform anymore.
And that's where the
And
problem is.
that is the problem. Because where there are no laws, there's total anarchy.
That's the point. That's the point. It's good from GJ to one organization or the other. We've all condemned it. Yes, yeah, we've condemned it. But as beyond the condemnation, people must be made to pay for
face
their actions.
the full
as
rigors of the
basic
law.
as that. It's as basic as that. Yeah. So, and of course, and I'm sure you guys have had your bite on how it happened in Parliament yesterday.
Oh, I was eagerly waiting for you, you know, because you know that I was asking them, and we're talking about it.
Yeah.
What this means for parliamentary business, the bills to be passed, and those bills that need to go to the president,
Exactly. So here's the thing. There's already
and even the committees.
the committees, and that's where I think the stretch probably might not get to. Yes, once the NDC side has been declared majority, right, they want to take advantage of everything that comes with being declared majority, including reconstitution of the committees, yes, and then after forcing them becoming the majority leader, are they moving from the left-hand side of the speaker to the right-hand side of the speaker, and all that. But we have just 50 days to the elections, right? Some of these things might amount to time wasting, especially so for instance, the changing of the office locations. Do you know when you get to job 600, to your right, that's the east wing, is where the minority members are.
Okay.
To your left, which is the west wing, is where the majority members are. Imagine having to say that all the 136 members of parliament
yes, that's
belonging
also-
to the
that's-
NDC
we should
move
move.
to the left side.
Oh,
and
that's another
those
thing.
ones
Nobody.
will be SSS, or are forcing to go and occupy Alexander Kwame
you
Nkrumah's
can-
office. Those ones we can do without, right? That's the point.
But what if Atufosin says, I want that I want that office. I am the majority leader.
You see, so but interestingly, the majority before yesterday, right? And I'm very careful with that, because if you say majority and you still insist majority, then these people will say, hey, we now have a new majority, it's the NDC. So I'm talking about the majority before what happened yesterday happened. And that's majority leader Alexander Kwame Nkrumah. In his engagement with us, had mentioned that they are going to boycott proceedings until Supreme Court brings a finality to this matter. And that might be quite some time.
But what if in a twist,
Yeah.
the Supreme Court makes a declaration quickly?
Yes, but you see, the declaration, so as we speak now, there's nothing before the Supreme Court. As we speak now, there's nothing before the Supreme
Because
Court.
the speaker has not even been served.
That's one. Two, now there's a decision that can be taken to court. What was taken to court was speculative. There was no decision. Speaker had not made a pronouncement on Article 97.
Okay.
You get it? So in my engagement with
Okay.
Andy Appiah Kubi, he had mentioned that he expected the speaker to do what he did. But now that the speaker has done what he has done, they have a decision. They can then go to court. So this morning, the majority side, before
caucus,
yesterday,
yeah.
the MPP, let me
The
be
NPP caucus.
The NPP caucus.
Oh God,
It's-
I was struggling with that this morning.
Yeah.
Like, which one is the majority?
Yes.
I mean,
The MPP caucus is headed back to court to file fresh writ
Okay.
and then also seek to enjoint the House from implementing Speaker's decision.
you know,
Yeah.
I've heard the Member of Parliament from Price, OBK,
Yeah.
say that what Speaker Okwe did was wrong. I've heard Katie Hammond also say the
Say that,
same
yeah,
thing.
what Speaker
But why
did.
didn't they say it in 2020?
And the appeal
Was,
to be
was,
said
was,
the
it, was
same
it because it served their purpose?
Here's the thing. In 2020, it didn't matter. There was nothing like numbers game, right?
Yes.
This time around, even two. In fact, MPP has in essence just lost 2 seats.
Yes.
2.
Yeah.
Aguna West and then Suhum. Because Fomina was independent.
Was not for
right?
them, yeah.
But even just that has brought the party where it is today by way of parliamentary caucuses, right?
Because the independents sat with them to do business.
Exactly. And it became critical because the numbers are very close. So in 2020, many people didn't pay attention. That's why many people are now faltering the system in MPP for allowing that to happen. But they didn't need to punish the man. Because you had the numbers on your side, overwhelming majority. Whether the man was in parliament or not, it didn't matter. But somebody somewhere wanted to teach the man a lesson. And just as they say in Twi, to wait. When you are consuming the carcass of a baboon, just look at your own fingers. You realize that they are just like you.
I'm sure you're wondering who is saying the PR. That's Lantam Papako. I have a full house. I like it when I have a full house.
Yes.
Lantam, how are you?
Full house. Yes.
Lantam, I missed you. How are you?
Yeah, I missed you too. I'm looking forward to seeing you on TV on Monday so that we can continue
I love affair.
our love affair on the TV.
Yeah.
Today you've come to the radio, so I followed you here.
I know, I
It's
know.
interesting how both you and I will host the TV morning show and come and host the radio morning show.
Together.
You know,
It's an interesting one. But
Yeah.
Lantam, I'm sure for you as a journalist, looking through your journalistic lenses, you predicted this, right? The speaker's ruling.
Well, I wasn't too sure. I wasn't too sure exactly how the speaker was going to rule because when you look at Alban Bagbing, he's been a very independent speaker of parliament,
Yes,
right?
yes,
and
yes.
you can't say that his tenure as speaker of parliament in this 8th parliament has been that of a partisan speaker or a speaker who can be, bamboozled or someone who cannot think on his own or someone who can be influenced by any side of the house. He does what he thinks is right as speaker of the house. And anytime he does something that he thinks is right, I mean, he refers to the laws that are there, the standing orders of parliaments, the constitution, and, the various laws that are there to make whatever ruling or whatever decision or to conduct the house any way that he sees fit. And this is the only member of parliament that we have left who has been in the house since 1992.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So he's been in parliament
he's
from
the Mugabe of
1992
parliament,
all the way to the last parliament.
But now we cannot call
where
him
he
the Mugabe,
didn't
we can call him
contest,
the Bia.
and now became the speaker. So this is this is
This is a man who knows the ins and outs,
the Dogen of
Parliament.
the 4th Republican Parliament.
Yeah.
He's seen it all.
Yeah.
Right. So he becoming Speaker of Parliament, he has, demonstrated that he cannot be. I mean, no one can. he will not kowtow to the whims and caprices of any political party, and I think he has demonstrated that. So it wasn't too clear how the speaker was going to rule on this because there were some plausible arguments that were being made, on both sides. For example, those who were arguing that when you look at the provisions of Article 97 and you look at, the clause, is it H, right? Clause G and H, when it talks about what you have to do before your seat is declared vacant as a member of parliament. Some believe that it refers to the current parliament that we are in. Right, the 8th parliament. So if in the 8th parliament I decide that I'm going to cross carpet, or I decide or I announce that I'm an MPP member of parliament, I declare that I'm no longer allegiance. I no longer have allegiance to the MPP. I have now allegiance to the NDC. So I'm moving over to the NDC to do business with them. They believe that that is what the Constitution seeks to cure, and it is for the current parliament, and it is not for someone's intention to become a member of parliament for the next parliament, which has not yet been constituted. It is only an intention. So now if I'm a member of parliament for Amenfi, and I'm an NDC member of parliament, and I go as an independent candidate, it is an intention for the ninth
next
parliament.
parliament, yeah.
But as far as this particular parliament is concerned, I am still representing the people of Amenfi on the ticket of the NDC.
Exactly.
That is the arguments that a lot of people are, one school of thought is making. And so, I have not crossed carpets. I have not announced that I want to become a member of parliament or an independent member of parliament in this 8th parliament. I have not I have not declared that intention. So that is one side of the argument, and people believe that. I mean, that is what it is. And so this is really neither here nor there, right? And there are those who also believe that, look, the spirit and the letter of the Constitution is such that they were trying to cure a certain mischief that has been happening in Parliament, where anybody, can get up and now say that, okay, well, if my party didn't put me there as the candidate, then I'm going to declare my intention to become an independent candidate. And if that is not cured, what is going to happen is that we'll have a situation where the floodgates will be open. And then anyone who wants to go as an independent candidate, if they feel aggrieved by certain actions of their party, or maybe they lost their primaries and they feel that they have a very good chance and they are still in parliament, they will suffer no repercussions. They can just decide that they want to go independent. And we'll begin to see a lot of that happen. And mind you, we've seen quite a number of those happen. I mean, we've seen the case of Joe Wise, we've seen the case of Andrew Esiama, and a few others who decided that they are going to go independent. Right? Yeah. And it looks like it is gradually. We saw Joe Wise, then we saw Andrew Esiama. Now look at this. Now we are seeing three of them. Yes. Right? 3 more of them. So it means people are beginning to see that if I'm very popular in the constituency and I'm on the ticket of the party and I don't win the primaries and I want to go again, I can go. So if we do that, then we are opening the floodgates. Then the next, if people know that they will suffer no repercussions whatsoever, then they will continue to do that, right? So that is the other side of the argument, and that is what Speaker Bagbin in his ruling, alluded to something like that. That if it does not apply now, right, and it is to be applied in the 9th Parliament, then the members of Parliament now who have done that will suffer no repercussions whatsoever. Yes, and whatever decision they make will be, will be inconsequential, and they can go ahead and do whatever it is they want to do. And also, a certain precedent has been set by Professor Aaron Michael, even though Speaker Babin says that he's not necessarily bound by it, but he referred to it. That, look, a seat was declared vacant because...
while Parliament was in session.
Exactly, and that is one of the things that IB also alluded to, right? That at that point in time, the MPP felt that they wanted to punish Esiama. So they wrote to Professor Aaron Michael Quay that this is what the Constitution is saying, and by virtue of what the Constitution is saying, the seat might be declared vacant. And Professor Aaron Michael Quay proceeded to do exactly that, right? So that precedent has already been set. Now that will serve as a deterrent to other members of Parliament, to think twice, unless they are so confident that, well, I mean, I can still go and win. Like what happened with Andrew Esiama, where now the party had to go and beg him to come back to the party, and they had to appease him with the second deputy speakership, and all of that. So it's a very interesting situation that we are faced with.
One of the various political parties' constitution says the moment you say you're going independent, automatically that very instant you forfeit your membership.
Both political parties have that in their constitution.
So how then do you go to the people and represent them if the Parliament is still in session? Because your party constitution says immediately you say that you forfeit your membership.
Yeah, so you cease to be a member of the party, but you don't necessarily see that is the political party's constitution. So the counter argument will that
But you
yes,
are representing the people on the
counter-
ticket
yeah,
of a political
on
party.
the ticket of the political party. But the counter argument will be that when you become a member of parliament, even though you've been elected on the ticket of a political party, you are a member of parliament for the entire constituency,
Yeah.
regardless of whoever voted for you to become the MP, regardless of who is NDC or NPP in the constituency, you are representing them. And so in that particular parliament that you are, even though you're on the ticket of a political party, you are the MP for everybody in that constituency. And that responsibility does not shift such that if you are NDC and there are NPP members in your constituency and something needs to be done, as the MP, you have to do it for them because you are the MP.
Yes.
So that will be the counter argument.
Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen and lady.
It's an interesting situation.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
couple
situation.
of days.
And that's what IB was saying. That look, political parties sometimes when you're doing some of these things, you have to think about the repercussions.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Now the shoe is on the other foot, and the MPP caucus is crying foul.
Yeah.
And trying to put all kinds of spins on it, trying to explain it away and all of that. Forgetting that this is exactly what happened. People say that, in the case of the Andrews Esiama, it was the MPP that wrote to the party, and they are the ones who gave notice to the speaker that, he has left the MPP and all of that. But I think the cases are the same, because in this particular instance also, there is a notice of poll which says that these people are independent candidates.
Exactly.
And by their own constitutions, they are no more members of the party. And so the same should apply. Right?
What is good for the goose
is good for the gander. So this should be a lesson to the politicians. But it'll be interesting to see how the Supreme Court rules on this particular subject matter, and what they say. And it will be monumental. But history has been made.
Exactly.
History has been, we never have we had
whether the Supreme Court
an executive
rules contrary to what is now.
Yeah, history has been made.
Yeah, history has
because
been
never
made.
have we had an executive without a majority in parliament. It has never happened before, right? So this 8th parliament has been full of a lot of historic events, right? A lot of historic events. But as to whether or not their performance as a parliament has been up there, that is also subject to debate. So
Anyway, so that's it for our newspaper review. Thank you, Nurain. Thank you, Lantam. Thank you, Nanama. Thank you, Ibrahim Alassan. This is still the Morning Star on Star 103.5 FM.
Let's have breakfast on the Morning Star. This is Star 103.5 FM. Simply the best.